just to see.
Leave the word strike out of it and rally.
Oh, shoot. I don't know if I did that.
Because it says we're live on YouTube right now.
Oh, it does? Okay. Hi, everybody. We're still testing out. It does seem like we're live on YouTube.
Awesome. Ruby was saying it might be because...
I believe it's working now, so we can all...
Copy the link, though, just so we can make sure before we start.
We're live. Can I get you to record, Sophie?
But are we sure that, like,
I saw it.
Oh, okay, you saw it. Okay. Yeah. But we need the link to promote it. So can you send the link before we start?
Okay, I think we are starting. We're started. I don't have it now. Could we just get someone to go on the channel?
Okay.
I don't have it anymore, sorry. I just know that I'm live. Hi, everybody. If you're starting to join us, we apologize for the delay. We had to switch around a few of our channels and a few of our Zoom calls because the technology wasn't cooperating with us. So we'll be sending out the new link shortly, and hopefully we can just start the rally with a bit of a delay, but not too much. So let me keep going with this. We're just gonna wait a few more minutes to make sure things are back in order. I'm just gonna mute everybody. All right, apologies about this. If you are following us right now already, feel free to put some reaction in the chat, just some way for us to know that this is working well for you, and we'll be there with you in a few minutes in our usual manner. Okay, let me just a few more moments to make sure folks are coming in smoothly. Okay, it seems like there are perfect. So I see that we are here, and I'm just going to be putting this here. Tim, you can see the live, right? Perfect. I'm giving you a few more minutes. Apologies. All right. Hi, everybody. Welcome. As I see some people are starting to come in, I'm just going to let us all pour in for a few minutes more. Apologies for all of this. If you are only joining us now through YouTube, feel free to check out our Facebook, which is Fridays for Future Toronto /GTA. We'll have live stream information there that should be relevant to all of this strike that we're going to try to conduct. Sophie, I see that you're not co-host, you are co-host. No? I can make you host, but that will take me off. I can't make you co-host.
Can we get Bridget Frey to turn off her camera?
Are you able to turn off, your camera? Okay. Why are you asking that? Just so that we all, okay. I'm admitting people from the waiting room, but I can't make you co-host. Should I make you host? But then it's gonna take off the live, probably. Okay. Great. Are the links being shared just to check that we have a few people joining us on this live? Can folks that are with Fridays for Future on the call confirm that the link has been shared widely on all platforms in the chat? I see people are trickling in. Welcome. I'm still waiting. So my name is Ali, and we're still waiting a few minutes because we had a few technical difficulties, as you may have noticed if you've tried to connect a whole 30 minutes ago now. Apologies. I know some of you were able to see the first part of the performance with the music, and then things went a little sour from there. Okay. I think we'll have to give it a whole 5 minutes because we have everybody kind of going from one channel to the other. Could folks on the Slack tell me if everything is okay? So things are shared on the Facebook, right? And on the Twitter, Instagram, all the links have been shared. Awesome. So I'll just wait for numbers to go up a little bit on the live stream, and then we can start the chat. I'm wondering if folks that are performing music today wanted to just do some musical background as we trickle in. If someone just has an easy piece they can do in the meantime, please feel free to volunteer right now. Otherwise, I'm going to ask you to mute your mic if you're not volunteering for this. And folks that are managing their respective performers, please feel free to text them right now because I'm getting texts in otherwise. All right, seeing people trickle in. Hi, I want to make sure we have more folks that are on, but a few of you have made it, which means the links are out. Once again, I'm going to repeat myself in for a few more minutes as people come in. We had a problem with our live stream originally. Zoom decided to act on its own and not let us live stream. So we are starting with a bit of delay and might finish with a bit of delay, but hopefully you found this link somehow. And in the meantime, while we're waiting for a few more people, we'll have Cassie, who's gonna just play something in the background. And all other people on our live stream.
I'm just about to go live.
To please
right now.
Your camera. Please turn off your cameras if you are not going live. Thank you very much. And we'll have Cassie that's going to do a little bit of a musical piece while we wait for everybody to find this new link. Thank you, Cassie.
Oh, your smile gets me through the day, 'cause ordinary people have extraordinary ways, and then they push you down, but you get back up, and the things you do say no is enough. Sometimes I feel too old to not do what I'm told, and my tongue gets tired of telling age-old lies. But when I take the time to look and see, I see your sweet face smiling back up at me. Yeah, and your smile gets me through the day, 'cause ordinary people have extraordinary ways, and they push you down, but you get back up, and the things you do say no is enough. She was about 16, still not afraid to dream. She looked up in his face and said, "That's all that will take. Yeah, we've had enough of your games with guns and all of the beauty that you've undone. Oh, here I am, and I have something to say. I know your life is black and white, but there are a million shades of gray and pink and purple and red and blue, and a trillion people who have more fun than you. Yeah, and your smile gets me through the day, 'cause ordinary people have extraordinary ways, and they push you down, but you get back up, and the things you do say enough is enough. Yeah, we need that child standing on her own to be the one who knows in her heart that alone we are weak. Yeah, alone we're weak, but together we're strong. So here's a hand, I hope you'll come along. Yeah, and your smile gets me through the day, 'cause ordinary people have extraordinary ways, and they push you down, but you get back up, and the things you do say enough is enough. Yeah, as the flames engulf you, rise above. Yeah, with a smile on your face you say, this is love. And as the fire burns high you say, I choose love. How are we doing?
Great, thank you so much, Cassie. Hi, folks, welcome. Cassie volunteered to have a bit of a musical interlude while you were trickling in. As you saw, we had a few technical difficulties, but hopefully you found us now. I'm gonna actually already put you at contribution here and ask you to share this new link that you've found with other folks that you know wanted to join us. Zoom decided to have a mind of its own and change the location of where we had our strikes. So here we are. We've had sometimes incidents in our real life strikes, and I guess our digital strikes are no different. But please know that now we're live and we have some of our wonderful social media teams that are moderating the Facebook Live. So if you want to give any reactions and feedbacks in the comments, you definitely can. Otherwise, I'm really going to encourage you throughout this whole strike to stay with me and follow as we have a variety of speakers and performers come in, and we're going to ask you to contribute. So hopefully we can spend the next approximately 2 hours together. Apologies again for the delay. Okay, I guess we can officially start now. But bonjour, je m'appelle Aliénor Rougeau, je suis une étudiante à l'Université de Toronto et je suis avec Fridays for Future Toronto. Hi, my name is Ali. I'm a student at the University of Toronto. I'm going to be your MC for today's digital climate strike, and I organize with Fridays for Future Toronto. I really want to welcome you on this call. I know this is unusual. I know we might have met before at in-person climate strikes. As a reminder, we were over 50,000 people in the streets of Toronto in September. And today on April 3rd, it was supposed to be a day kind of like in September. We were hoping for beautiful weather and powerful speakers to ask for climate justice. But as you know, we are living in very unusual times with this global pandemic, and we decided instead of canceling our strike to take it online. And so things are going to be a little different. We won't be able to cheer together. We won't be able to march. We won't have our bodies right there in the streets showing our commitment to climate justice. And what this means, in all honesty, is that we're going to have to be doing much, much more sitting at home than we're in the street, because our impact is a little more delayed. So when I'm going to ask you, hey, can you be with me and tweet out this? I'm really hoping you'll join, because this is the only way we're going to get our voices out there today, at least. I want to just give you a few other announcements. The first one is that we have a website that's been wonderfully crafted by a few of our folks, and we have a special page for the April 3rd strike. So if you go on Fridays for Future TO, it's Fridays for Future, only letters, TO.org, you'll be able to see the April 3rd tab. And I really encourage you to go now, because throughout the rally, I'll be referring to that tab and having you be able to consult who the speakers are, what the link I'm talking about is. So hopefully you're able to get to that. And once again, feel free to message our social media pages or the YouTube Live. If you can't access it for any reason, we'll be monitoring all of that as we are live. Another announcement is that we are also striking digitally by putting signs outside our houses, so outside our windows. And you can take a few minutes right now or between some musical performances to go and do that. Put a climate strike sign that you would usually hold outside your window. It's a way of showing commitment. Our theme today is a Green New Deal for a Green New Decade. But we recognize that we're in the middle of a pandemic that may make it hard to understand why we would keep having a climate strike. Our speakers and our performers today are going to try to show the links between this climate crisis and this pandemic that we're going through, and mostly the lessons we can learn and the ways with which we can ask for policies from our governments that responds both to this immediate crisis and this longer term crisis. With that, I personally am right now sitting in Toronto. I don't know where you are watching this, but I think many of you might be in or near what we call Toronto. But this land is not mine to say. I am a settler on this land. And usually, I'm sure you've heard at the beginning of events that we do land acknowledgements. Well, one time I went to an event where someone called Amy Desjardins, she's an Indigenous knowledge keeper, said, whenever you settlers do land acknowledgements, you always talk about the original people, which I'll do in a second, but you never actually acknowledge the land, which is the whole point originally of the land acknowledgement. So she said it was really important to thank the land on which we are standing because we live from her. And I'm sure you're, like me, committed to protecting this land, but we need to recognize what she does for us every day. And so in these times of pandemic, I think we've been seeing on the media pictures of other beings, non-human beings, coming back onto the land more and more. And we're seeing them more than we did before because we're taking less space. And it personally made me realize I wanted that all the time. I wanted that when we go back to normal. I wanted that after the pandemic, was living with this land and recognizing it more, seeing more of those non-human beings. And so we really want to think, even if we're on a computer and digitally, that we depend on the land, we depend on the water, and we depend on the air. And so we're striving to protect them as well. That being said, and as a settler, as I've mentioned, I arrived in Canada a few years ago, and I was taught about the original people that took care of this land for millennia before European settlers came in. And so when we do land acknowledgements, and I think most of you have heard them, sometimes it feels like people are trying to tick a box. They're trying to say, we did this, and now we can move on to our event. We don't do land acknowledgements as a way to ask for forgiveness, because that is not a way to ask for forgiveness. The only way we can reconciliate truthfully is being good allies and following the lead of Indigenous leaders and working with Indigenous folks to fight for their struggles and for what they're asking for. The land acknowledgement is much more a way for us to look at history in the way we've said it, and instead of that, recognize that in this history that we're being taught in school, that we've taught others, there were voices that were purposefully silenced, and Indigenous voices were part of those that were purposefully silenced. And so when we acknowledge the land, we're kind of trying to reestablish the whole truth, or part of the truth at least, as much as we can. So the land that I stand on has been taken care of by the Anishinaabe Nation, the Haudenosaunee Confederacy, the Huron-Wendat, and the Mississaugas of the New Credit First Nation, as well as the Métis Nation, and many other documented or undocumented nations that cared for this land. It's important also to remember that Indigenous people still live on this land today, on what we call Canada today, and Indigenous people here and around the world are still those that are safeguarding most of the biodiversity that we, I think, as also a climate justice movement, are trying to protect. So we're walking very much in their path. We're inspired, and we are supporting their activism first and foremost, because they're the ones that have always been taking care of the water, the air, and the land. With that in mind, I would like to introduce you to our first speaker, and she's actually going to be performing more than speaking. Her name is Brenda McIntyre, and her Indigenous name is Medicine Songwoman. She has shared her evocative melodic voice in fusion of reggae, rap, Indigenous hand drum healing music with appreciative audiences of 30 or 3,000 across North America. So she's Toronto-based, and she won a Juno Award a few years ago, and she's been featured on Much Music, CTV, CP24, APTN, and on Global, and she was also on the front page of the Toronto Star more recently. Brenda told me and told us that it was powered by her grief from losing her son to murder in 2016 that she pours her soulful voice over a confluence of Indigenous hand drum healing, soft rap, and conscious root reggae in her album Picking Up the Pieces, released in September 2019. So we're really honored to have Brenda with us today. Brenda, if you want to turn on your camera and your mic now.
Bojo, Mishnikanagamani Quenishnikas, Gokuradam, Karantu Dinjaba, Kamlupa Dinjaba. So just saying greetings in the Ojibwe language, and that my Indigenous name is Medicine Songwoman. I'm Owl Clan, and I always mentioned Toronto, which is the original word for Toronto, as where I live now, and Kamloopa, and I hope I pronounced that right. Kamloops, British Columbia, which is where I grew up mostly. So that's what I was saying in Anishinaabemowin in the Indigenous, in the Ojibwe language. Miigwech, thank you for that lovely intro and welcome, and for doing this. I wanted to share today. I don't always know what I'm going to do. I channel live. I go by what I feel, but I got a really strong feeling last night that I need to do a certain song and offer some teachings around that. And so our water, we know, is really important to us. Water is our first medicine. That's what we're taught, is water is our first medicine. And when you think about that, it's the very first thing that happens before life can happen, right? Because the water breaks before the baby comes. And so we need to take care of our water, and we're made of it. We're literally breathing out water, breathing it in. And this whole virus thing right now, with literally our breath infecting people, we can take that and turn it around. We can shift the energy, what's in our breath, because Dr. Emoto was a Japanese scientist. He was he's in the spirit world now, but he taught me some things. And also our Indigenous community, we do full moon ceremony where we change the water into healing water all the time. It's a thing we can do. Water holds memory, but also, like what Dr. Emoto showed, was that there's evidence. If you just even put the word love or gratitude under or around a glass of water, that it would actually physically change the structure of it. You don't even have to think love, just the word itself. So imagine if you're thinking and feeling love and gratitude, is what I want you to do when I sing this song. Imagine what that does to the breath that's coming out of you, because your breath is full of water. Imagine what that does to you on the inside, because you are water. You are mostly that, mostly water. And imagine what that will do for our planet if we're all breathing out love and gratitude instead of breathing out fear. Breathing out fear, really, that's what it is. Breathing in fear, breathing out fear. We want to do the opposite. Breathe in love and gratitude, and breathe out love and gratitude. The song I'm going to share with you is called Breath of Life. And it's a welcome song. It's a song that came to me because I had pneumonia after I lost my son to murder. I had pneumonia during, it was during the murder trial that I had that. And so I went through a lot and I couldn't breathe. And let me tell you, and that's what's going on right now for some people that get this thing, your breath is taken away from you. Literally, that's our breath of life. We need that. And our breath is full of water. So we can offer love and gratitude to the water within us and to our breath that comes out into the world, and also to any of the bodies of water that you know about that you want to send that love and gratitude to. Some are like Lake Ontario, for example, is where I usually go, and sometimes Kalamalka Lake, where some partly grew up in Vernon as well, and certain rivers and whatever comes to my mind. I'm always giving gratitude, and this song is a reminder to breathe, because when we get traumatized, and everyone right now is actually dealing with trauma. A lot of people are walking around not knowing they're going through grief, shock, and trauma. I know it well because I lost my parents when I was a kid, when I was a teenager, and I lost my son just 4 years ago. So I know what it feels like. That's what a lot of people are experiencing right now. So it's really important to breathe, because when there's trauma going on in the body, we stop breathing. I hope that's not, I see something about sound and camera, but hopefully it's working. Anyways, so I'm going to share this song called Breath of Life. But when you hear me breathe in, I want you to take a breath in and really breathe in. And we can kind of transform that air. So that air comes in, and then you're going to give it love and gratitude, and then you're going to breathe out. So your breath out is going to be full of love and gratitude. And you can do that now, even. and just remember to breathe. This is also, like I said, a welcome song. So I'm also calling in all of our ancestors, all of our, what I call your higher realm support team, God, goddess, creator, source, archangels, angels, spirit helpers, whatever it is for you. I'm inviting all of them in from the highest places only, the ones who are benevolent and willing to help us. Yeah. And sending that love and gratitude deep into all of the waters of Mother Earth while we're singing this. And you can sing along if you want. You can drum along. Probably not on camera for a Zoom call right now, but you can at home. You can do this with me, or you can just meditate and let yourself receive. Up to you. I'm going to do 4 honor beats, and that's our prayers being sent into all directions. So remember to breathe when you hear me breathing in. And I want you to think about all those droplets coming out of your breath being full of love and gratitude. Make sure you're breathing. Breathing in love and gratitude. Breathing out that love and gratitude and sending it wherever you want. To our whole planet. Even to the virus. Thank you. And send that breath. Remember, all day long, we can be doing this. Just love and gratitude through our breath. We can change this. We can change this.
Thank you, Brenda. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
I wish we could offer you tobacco, but here we are. Digitally, things are much harder.
Tobacco.
Virtual tobacco for you. Please, if you're watching us live or joining us now, make sure to comment for Brenda and to thank her for this opening that really gives us energy. When we have performance like this, put your sound up so your whole house can be filled with all that energy. And then maybe when I speak, you can put it back down if you don't want my whole voice to resonate in your house. All right, so we're gonna keep going, and we're gonna have Brenda. I think there we go. This is working smoothly now. If you're only joining us now, we apologize for the confusion. Technology got reason of us, but we are now with you. And this was not a normal strike anyways, as you can tell, because we can't be blocking the streets. So you have a bigger role to play than ever in this digital strike. And the first step, I've said it before, is going on our website, fridaysforfutureto.org, and finding the tab that says April 3rd. I encourage you to do that now because you'll be able to find links and bios of speakers and petitions you can do with us through this live. What we want to do today is give you some hope, give you some power, give you some information, but we also want to keep building this community that we've started to build a year and a half ago with Fridays for Future Toronto. And to build community, we need to be in touch with you. So if you're on our website, and I'm sure you are now, fridaysforfutureto.org, you can also sign up to be a volunteer at the bottom. And this is kind of the first action I'm going to ask from you right now. From your homes is going on our website, signing up to be a volunteer, to have news with us, so that when we are able to go back in the streets, for those of us that want to do that, then we can go massively and ask for the climate justice we deserve and we really much need in this time. We're today talking about a Green New Deal for a Green New Decade, and we're not talking about that to ignore COVID, but instead we're talking about that because we firmly believe the same policies that we'll need for to fight COVID in a just way are Green New Deal policies. So I want to just go on Twitter for a second and tell you that we have 2 hashtags that we want to get trending in Canada, and only you can do that. So to get those hashtags trending, I'm going to need you to tweet anything. It can be, I'm watching live the Fridays for Future Global Climate Strike. It can be a tweet at your politicians, your elected officials saying, we want a Green New Deal now. But you just have to use the hashtag climate strike online. Very simple. You can also use the hashtag youth climate strike. If you are using Instagram, Facebook, or even TikTok, it's 2020, we can use TikTok too. Please feel free to use those hashtags as well. It would be awesome to see them trending on all platforms. Okay, so remember, I'm asking more from you now than I ever asked from you in other digital strikes. So really, I'm gonna look on Twitter while we have our next performer, and I really hope to see some of your hashtags starting to trend. We have another performance now, and this performance is on purpose. So you have time to go and post those tweets and post those social media posts. And the next performer is Tim Baker. So Tim Baker is probably best known as the writer and frontman of the much celebrated Newfoundland band Hey Rosetta. I'm sure you've heard of them before. And after taking their sweeping, poetic, high energy music across the world for over a decade, Hey Rosetta closed their doors in 2017, leading Tim to reflect, regroup, and record his first solo album, Forever Overhead. It was released in April 2009, and Rolling Stone called it nostalgic and nuanced. It nods to Jackson Browne. It's buoyant, bubbling, worthy of feast. And so Tim Baker is on his own now, but no, he's going anywhere anytime soon. He's not going anywhere anytime soon. And we're really glad that we have Tim with us today. He calls Toronto home for now. And he said himself, he told us he's washing his hands, eating lentils, and working on his next album. Tim, if you want to unmute your mic and come on the screen, we'd love to hear you perform. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Ali. Thank you, everybody. A great pleasure to be here. Digitally with you all. I'm going to play a song that I was asked to write by a friend of mine for the global student climate strike that happened in September. And so I wrote this song for that strike for everyone to sing there. I was sadly not there. I was on tour at the time and couldn't be there. So at least I'm here now. And my partner, Nico Paolo, is here. And she's going to help me sing it. So I hope you enjoy. Please sing along. It's pretty easy to get the hang of. It's called The Only World. It's the only world we got. It's the only world we've got. It's the only world we got. It's the only world we've got. For everything that I love, for everything that's yet to come, let's take our future back. Oh, they say we're too young, but there are ways are gonna kill us all. Let's take our future back. Oh, people, come on, come out of your school and your work and your house. Well, don't actually, but take our future back. So, and we can put it all together now. And maybe we can turn this ship around and take our future back. It's just the only world gotta take our future back. And I won't shut up and be quiet while the world around me dies. We got to take our future back. And I won't sit at my desk while the Wi-Fi's take the West. I would take our future back. And I won't take your walk or your plastic choke in the ocean floor. We gotta take our future back. Here we go. 'Cause it's the only world we've got. Hey! It's the only world we've got. There's no one steering the boat, and we're heading for the getting crazy storm. Let's take our future back. Are we only driven by all the greed and the fear and the lies? We gotta take our future back. And those that deny are taking profits off the pie. Let's take our future back. And those of us that fight are fighting for the weak and the poor and the tired. And we'll take our future back. Here we go. 'Cause it's the only world we got. Sing it to yourself. It's the only world we got. One more. We fight for the animal. We fight for the very air in our lungs. Let's take our future back. We fight for the unborn. We fight for those that can't fight anymore. We'll take our future back. For everything that I love, for everything that's yet to come, we'll take our future back. And they say we're too young, but there are ways they're gonna kill us all. Let's take our future back. 'Cause it's the only world we got. It's the only world we got. It's the only world we've got. It's the only world we've got. Thanks, everybody. Steady on.
I'm sure everybody else is applauding. Thank you so much, Tim. Tim did write this for our September strike. It was amazing. We were all out in the street. And I'm really, really honored to have you again. So thank you so much, Tim.
Thank you.
And congrats, folks. I've seen already on Twitter a lot of the climate strike online that's starting to arrive in the hashtag. So thank you for doing your part in this online climate strike. I hope you're also taking the time to put a sign outside your window, maybe so your neighbors can start a conversation after isolation about what a Green New Deal could look like for us in so-called Canada. All right, I promised you I was gonna ask you for more action, and it's your turn again. So I want to remind you of two things. The first one is our website, fridaysforfutureto.org. You're gonna get tired of me telling you, but I promise you there's so many resources on there. There's also videos of our other youth speakers that we couldn't fit in today, so please go there. But the second thing is, I love to speak to our elected officials or to the people working in government to tell them what they're not doing and tell them what I want them to be doing. It's something we do when we take the megaphone in front of Queen's Park, but it's something we can actually do from home when we don't have that option. I do miss my megaphone, to be honest, but a good second option is to text. And I have for you the phone number, the cell phone number of someone that works inside the Environment Ministry of Ontario. I'm not going to give you their name because I don't want you to harass them. And I'm really asking you to just use this number once, text them all together, and then please don't use that number for anything else, really. But this person is not the elected minister, so don't take out any rage on them. This person puts policies in front of the minister for them to then be brought to the Ontarian government. So this is a person that's really important, and this person needs to know what you want. So since our theme is the Green New Deal, and we want a future, we want a clean future, but we want a just transition to this future, we're gonna text them all of that. So if you have a phone near you, I'm really encouraging you to take your phone out right now. I'll leave you a few seconds if you have to run around and try to find it. If you are on your phone, write the number down and do it after, no worries. I'm gonna say the numbers a few times, so don't worry, but the number we're gonna be texting from someone in the Environment Ministry of Ontario is 647 283 7584. I'm going to say that one again. 647 283 7584. I'll say it the last time afterwards. But an example of a text I sent earlier today was, "Hi, my name's Ali. I'm an Ontario student, and I support a Green New Deal for Ontario." I also said, I'm not really happy with what Ontario is doing right now regarding the environment, so I'm expecting more. And one of the ideas would be, and then you can add something. So I would say sponsoring training so that workers in high carbon industries go to low carbon industries in a just way. So having them be accompanied by the government through this transition. So the number, once again, so that you can all text them, is 647 283 7584. If you've been at Fridays for Future Strikes before, you know usually we would actually ask you to show us. I can't, so I'm gonna have to trust you. So please take this time, send a text, very simple. It can be 3 lines. I want a Green New Deal for Ontario. Please make it happen. Tell the Ministry of the Environment. They're the ones that can do something for our future in a very concrete way. Hopefully that's done. Okay, I'll let you finish this off. And in the meantime, I'll introduce you to our next speaker. Her name is Savy. And Savy is a 17-year-old high school student and an organizer with Climate Justice Toronto and Students Say No. She organizes with an intersectional analysis and is trying to build a better world that leaves nobody behind. So I think you'll be really inspired by Savy. And Savy was so modest in her bio, but she delivered an amazing and really powerful speech in September at our strike as well. And I'm really excited to have her again with us. So please welcome Savy.
Hi, everyone.
Hi, Savy.
I hope you can hear me okay. So my name is Savy, like Ali said, and I just wanted to take today to talk a bit about some things that are really important to me right now, and that in light of COVID-19 have really come to the surface and have really need some more attention. So I want to talk a bit about money and the government's response to COVID-19. So grocery store workers and cleaners are now, as some of you may have heard, and there's comics and stuff that depict them as the superheroes of our society right now. But guess what? Superheroes need food and housing too. They get sick too. And so I really want to talk about how workers who were almost invisible to the government before this pandemic were not paid enough and had to work in a lot of precarious positions, especially if they're undocumented. And they're now being recognized as essential, which is great, but despite this title, many of them are still not earning enough money to support themselves and their families. A lot of them are also still in precarious situations and are still making minimum wage. And this is really shocking to me because they're considered these essential parts of our society that keep everything moving, keep everyone healthy, and keep everyone eating. And these workers are really putting themselves at risk. We're expected to stay home, but then there's these people who are expected to every day take public transit and go to work. So these workers in essential services also need essential protections. And I also want to talk a bit about how this pandemic has caused a lot of stress for workers all across the world. And a lot of people have been laid off or had their hours reduced or are being forced to work in unsafe conditions because of COVID-19. But there is support you can get. So the COVID-19 Emergency Response Benefit, which is also referred to as CERB, C-E-R-B, it may be helpful to you if you have been laid off from your work. And I really recommend that if you just want advice on your situation, or if you have been laid off and want to know if you're eligible for this benefit, that you call the Workers Action Center hotline. And there's some really, really great support you can get from them. They are experts. They're getting so many calls every single day. So I can just say the number right now. The number is 416-531-0778. And if you didn't hear that, it's 416-531-0778. And you can also check out their website at workersactioncenter.org. I also wanted to talk a tiny bit about money. I never talk about money, obviously, because I don't like it. But time after time, we, the people, have always been told that there's not enough money. There's not enough of it, whether it's relation to providing free public services to everyone, ensuring everyone has a place to eat, place to live, and a place to eat, ending the exploitation of land and people. It's always been said that the cost is way too high and that we're being unrealistic when we ask for things like a Green New Deal. Yet in light of this pandemic, the government is spending more than $50 billion in the emergency COVID-19 bill. What? Where did this money come from? We can see that there's not a lack of money. It's just a lack of will from the government to fight for the people, and there's never enough money to feed the people. That's what they say. There's never enough money to fund essential services or ensure decent housing or decent work for everyone. There's never enough money to implement a Green New Deal for all that leaves nobody behind. There's always enough money to buy a new pipeline. There's always enough money for the expansion of police, and there's always enough money to protect and serve the white and wealthy. Money is not the issue. It's simply a matter of priority. And it's very clear, crystal clear, especially in this pandemic, whose lives the government values and whose lives they don't care about at all. We see this also with the continuation of work in Wet'suwet'en with the pipeline. And coming through COVID-19, we see that money can in fact be redistributed in society. We have to organize and push the government so that they have no other option than to listen to us and use the money that they do have in order to protect people and listen to what we want and what we need. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Savy. Thank you. Folks, I hope you just heard the word Savy said. She talked about workers and she talked about paying people and she talked about us putting money where it matters. And if for some of you it's not clear, wait, isn't this a climate strike? Isn't this an environmental thing? I'm glad you're asking yourself this question because I think Savy touched on that, and I think maybe our speakers will continue to do that. This is one and the same thing. When we say the climate crisis is a human rights crisis, we also mean the policies need to change whose struggles they're addressing, right? And with all of that, when we say a Green New Deal, we're asking for policies that are going to be about giving people good jobs in a just transition. We're asking people to protect what matters, which is life, and to protect those who preserve our lives, like Savy was saying with the health workers right now. So we need to make sure they are treated extremely well because they're the ones right now who are saving our lives. So I'm really glad Savy mentioned all of this. And I want to transition us. We're going to be talking about more Green New Deal and more of what we should be asking from our governments. But before that, we have another musical break, and you can use that to look up what a Green New Deal is. You can use that to look up the resources Savy spoke about. But we have Bridget that's here. And Bridget Frey is one half of the award-winning duo Moscow Apartment. She is 17 years old, and she's a high school student who has grown up within the movement for climate justice. She's performed at many rallies and protests, including our very own. And Moscow's Apartment has toured across Canada and part of the US. They get regular airplay on CBC and NPR and will be releasing their much anticipated sophomore EP in June. Bridget has admired FFF supporter Jane Fonda since she was a little girl. Thanks, Bridget, for joining us today. We're really excited to have you.
Thank you.
Grown up within the movement for climate justice. She's performed at many rallies.
Uh-oh. Okay, it's about to die. Thank you to everyone who's organized this. I'm gonna start with a cover of The Times They Are Changing by Bob Dylan. I feel like this song, the lyrics are very accurate right now, but then also there was a really beautiful version of it that was used for Bernie Sanders' campaign and talking about the Green New Deal and all of that. So yeah, here we go. Come gather round, people, wherever you roam, and admit that the waters around you have grown, and accept it that soon you'll be drenched to the bone. If your time's worth you is worth saving, then you better start swimming or you'll sink like a stone. For the times they are a-changing. Come writers and critics who prophesy your pen, and keep your eyes wide, the chance won't come again. And don't speak too soon, for the wheel's still in spin, and there's no telling who's naming, or the loser who now may be later to win. For the times they are a-changing. Senators, congressmen, please heed the call. Don't stand in the doorways, don't block up the hall. For those who get hurt will be those who have stalled. There's a battle outside and it's raging. It'll soon shake your windows and rattle your walls. For the times they are a-changing. For the times they are a changing. All right, I'm gonna play one more song. This is one I wrote. I wouldn't say it's directly tied to climate justice and activism, but it's a song that I wrote about a dream that had a lot of like really beautiful nature imagery in it, and also people trying to kind of get rid of that nature. So yeah, it's called Meredith Palmer. I collapsed in your canoe, gave my boxes to your mother. I blew up all your balloons when I thought I was a bother. This house keeps growing, we're glowing, and all falling down. Before I know it, we're going. So give me a ride into town. I could be a better daughter. You could be a better son. I'll head straight for the water, but you'll help me when I can't run. Now your mother's at the door, and the kids are all out dancing. When I wash up on the shore, you'll be the only one left standing. This house keeps glowing, we're growing, and all falling down. Before I know it, we're going. So give me a ride into town. I could be a better daughter. You could be a better son. I'll head straight for the water, but you'll help me when I can't run. You help me when I can't run. You help me when I can't run. You help me when I can't run. Help me when I.
It seems like we've lost Bridget for a second there. Bridget, are you still here? Okay, we'll give her a few minutes maybe. Okay, I think we may have lost Bridget for a second. Folks, I want to thank you because I just went on our Twitter in the meantime, and I'm seeing the climate strike online that keeps going up in terms of tweets. That's amazing. I'm assuming you're doing the same on Instagram. I forgot to mention, but some of you are doing it automatically. You can grab your protest signs. I have some of mine in the back right here, and take a picture either of you with the sign or just the sign and tweet it out, put it on your Instagram, your Facebook, your TikTok, whatever you use to communicate. I also saw a few of you that said you actually texted your environment minister, so that's really exciting. If you do get answers, please send them to us. We'd love to see what they answered. And I'm seeing more and more Green New Deal talks on social media, so that's amazing. You're actually doing your part really well, and it's really exciting. Just a reminder that we had this live start a little late, so we're running a little late. And also that if you have people that you know wanted to join but might not find the live because it's in a different location, keep sharing it on social media. We'll keep going for at least a good hour and a half so they have time to join. So we have a little action animation for you that Dave Clark is going to be doing. It's going to get you, I think, warmed up, and Dave is always quite entertaining, so we're really excited to welcome Dave today. Dave is a Gemini Award-winning musician who has spent over 3 decades composing, performing, recording original music. So Dave is a multi-instrumentalist, vocalist, conductor, music producer, poet, educator, author, and he's mastering engineer and the leader of both the Woodshed Orchestra and the Woodchoppers Association Improvisers Orchestra. Dave has a long list of wonderful people he's worked with and played with. Anybody from Chris Walla of Death Cab for Cutie, drummer Neil Peart of Rush. We have people like poet Jim Carroll, trumpeter Rebecca Hennessy, and the list could go on and on, so I'll stop it here, but I'm really excited to welcome Dave for his animation and action. Hi, Dave, you can unmute yourself now.
Thanks, Allie. Hey, friends. There's lots of fun things that we can do to make a joyous noise. You've had great times on parades with the climate action and climate justice folks, and we're going to do something today that's lovely. You can open your window, go on your porch, stand on your roof, but don't go jumping near folks. Remember, practice safe social distancing. And we're going to do a couple of things. I'm going to go out on my porch with my drum and my daughter, who's going to hold this camera for me and time me. This is going to take a short amount of time. First, we are going to make a fanfare. What is a fanfare? A fanfare can be any noise that you want. You can play it on an instrument, on you can slap your belly, you can dance, you can blink your eyes, whatever you can physically or vocally do. And we're going to do that for a minute. And that's to get people's attention and to celebrate, to send out a good vibe and remind everybody of the noise that we make on the street, because we are fantastic as marchers and music makers. Then I am going to drift into what I call declarations of love. We are going to declare love for our neighbors, because it's very important to engage our neighbors and show them that we love them, because we need all of the positive vibes of people getting together and putting out the right message, which is this is not about us and them situation. This is an us situation. As in the great words of Muhammad Ali, you, me, we. There's only one people, and we've got to bring them together. Okay, so the second thing we're going to do is make declarations of love. We're going to thank our neighbors, and we're going to drift into that. You'll hear me doing it, then eventually you'll hear me playing this drum, and that's when we're going to play a fanfare out. And when we're making our declarations of love, that we are going to thank Mother Nature. We are going to say anything we want to say about what we feel about what's going on with the climate action today and things that should happen. And we're going to be grateful for the world around us and the nature and Mother Nature, who's taken so much good care of us up until this time and continues to. Okay, and then it's going to stop with a short little fanfare out. And then we're going to go back to Ali and all these great folks. And man, everybody's been so fantastic. It's been really touching. And I got to admit, I got a teary over a couple of things already. So it's really beautiful. And thank you. Here we go. I'm opening my door. I'm handing the reins over. Now we have neighbors outside already. Oh my God. We are going to strike a fanfare. We're going to strike a fanfare for climate action today, friends. There are people all over the world listening to you, watching and listening. This is wonderful. They are at their windows. They're on their balconies. They're on their roofs. They're talking to their neighbors. They are saying things that are very positive about the world. Here we go for fanfare. Oh. Look, that's neighbors in action. Yeah. you for all the kindness and beauty that you are. Thank you, friends. Thank you so much for doing the right thing during this COVID crisis that we are experiencing worldwide. Thank you for your care, your love, and your concern about Mother Nature, because Mother Nature will always tell us the right thing to do, and we have to be kind to them. Be good to your mother. Your mother wants to take care of you. Lift up the world. Think happy thoughts. Now, friends, we're on a march, and there's all kinds of people wearing freaky stuff and doing great things while we're on our own kind of march. Now, I see you out your window. I see you on your roof. I see you on your porch. Look at these people over here. They're on their porch right in the middle of the day. Yeah, baby. Look at those guys over there. That guy Aubrey's over there. Look at that person there making it up the street courageously. Oh, yeah. How we doing for time? Okay, here we go. Now we're going to play our fanfare out. You've done great work, friends. Thank you. Thank you. Mil grazie, domo arigato, merci beaucoup. Okay, and miguchen, friends. Here we go for our fanfare out. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Look at all these, he's a paella maker. Good. Thank you, friends. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dave. Well, folks, remember when I told you earlier to turn your volumes up when we had performers? I hope you didn't listen to me too much. That might have hurt your ears a little bit, but I hope that gave you a lot of energy. It gave me energy. And it reminded us that, yeah, usually we're loud in the street and we're asking for this climate justice. And for me, at least, it feels super disappointing not to be out right now and asking for the same thing. But I know, because I'm checking social media and because I trust you that you're gonna do it, that you're gonna be putting your signs out and doing the most out of this situation to ask for the climate justice we need so badly. You obviously can keep tweeting at Climate Strike Online, but you can also tweet at specific politicians. I saw some of you do it because I want to just give you a reminder of why we are here. And this is going to be a bit of a long spiel, so sit down. But I want to give you a reminder about why we're here, why Fridays for Future does what it does, and then I'll read you a message from one of the young Indigenous women who has been really on the front lines of fighting this climate crisis. But my little reminder to you is that the climate crisis is still very much here. Maybe you haven't thought about it in a while. We've had other things on our mind, but it's unprecedented. And honestly, the science is devastating. When you look at it, we're being told we are rushing towards extinction. I have to admit, in the middle of a pandemic, I don't want to think about extinction. So instead, I want to think about what we're going to be asking for and why we're asking for it so strongly and why we're asking for it now. I think it's always important to remember why the youth especially is so angry about this and why we deserve to be heard, why you deserve to scream on your balcony if that's the only way you can do it now. It's because for decades, people have denied climate change, and the scientists knew and the companies knew, but for decades there was money, billions of dollars that were going into denying this climate crisis. And so we were robbed of our futures. We have to do this fight today because people paid money to lie about it. People put our lives on the line and lied. So if you're feeling kind of angry right now, yeah, I am too. And this is why I'm happy you're here with us. And I'm happy you're gonna take action, more action after. A gentle reminder for those who are joining, because I see the numbers are changing, fridaysforfutureto.org is our website. And there's a page where you can sign up to be a volunteer, sign up to do more with us. We really want to hear from you because we're going to need more and more of these networks of people that are organizing. I saw earlier on Twitter, activism doesn't stop at self-isolation, and it's true. The revolution, if it has to start from our houses, then it will. And once we are able to go out in the street, we will go out so much more powerful. Now, I wish I could introduce you to the next speaker, but sadly she wasn't able to join us, had a last minute change in her schedule. So instead, I'm just gonna tell you about her and then read her exact words. So it's just like if it was her speaking, it's me again, sorry. But Sofia Sidaru is an Indigenous rights and environmental activist. And her activism has brought her traveling throughout Canada and even on the international stage at the UN headquarters for the International Day of the Girl at the Speak Out event. And she explains in her activism the connection between the desecration of lands and the impact that has on Indigenous women and girls. And Sofia is also one of the 15 plaintiffs suing the Canadian government for inaction on the climate crisis. So a really amazing activist that we've seen probably on images in Ottawa at Let's Wet in Solidarity events, who couldn't be there, but she wanted to tell us a little more about this strange addiction Canada has, and I'm sure you've heard of it. It's called fossil fuels. We have a bit of a problem. We just can't get around the fact that it's literally compromising our future, the youth's future. And Sofia wanted to tell you exactly this. The government came out at the beginning of this week, so during the COVID crisis, saying that the military is a valuable option and that all 24,000 troops are on standby. However, the military has been on standby throughout the whole Wet'suwet'en conflict and continues to do so as tensions rise and as Indigenous peoples begin to reclaim their power. So the military is being mobilized for something else. And the day after the announcement of mobilizing the military, the Alberta Premier Jason Kenney announced that Canada will be investing billions of dollars into another pipeline. If we were live right now, I'm sure you'd be screaming shame, because it is an absolute shame. And that's not even counting the billions of dollars that might be going into the bailout of oil and gas. So Sofia writes and says, Alberta and Saskatchewan will be impacted by the pipeline because the original Keystone pipeline is indeed already in the prairies. And this is an extension of the existing pipeline to increase oil export. And that's going to increase our greenhouse gas emissions from Canada, from extracting oil. And Sofia says this is to keep up with international oil interests. This is not going to benefit Canadians. She's especially worried about the fact that no environmental assessments were used because they used the environmental assessments that the US had done for their expansion of the same pipeline, which we called it the Dakota Access Pipeline. It's the same Keystone pipeline. So that environmental assessment that was deemed inadequate in the US was the one Canada used to assess this pipeline. The shovels are actually going in the ground as we speak. So this is really an emergency. And it hasn't been done with consultation with Canadians nor Indigenous people. And all the processes that we had in place, and Sofia says the processes we had in place were already inadequate, but now they were just completely violated. And this pipeline expansion is going on basically without us. And in her usual manner, she says, how can we let this happen? We can't. We have to stand up and fight back. So if you're on Twitter, on TikTok, on Instagram, if you're texting or emailing your MPs right now, you're gonna have to tell them we're gonna stand up and fight back against this pipeline expansion, against all pipelines, following the lead of Indigenous leaders like Sofia. And I invite you to go and check out on our Instagram and on our Facebook, we highlighted Sofia's work. So please go and check that out. That's enough speaking for me. We're gonna have Cassie and Neo, and I believe Akeem is gonna be going on to do a callback, a song that you're gonna be able to participate in from home. So Cassie, you've seen Cassie at our rallies before. She's a singer and songwriter. She's a climate activist, and she believes that music is a powerful tool capable of providing us both with the strength we need to make massive changes and the resilience we need to live through those changes in the years to come. Neo, who's going to be singing as well, is an 11-year-old singer, songwriter, and a climate activist. Cassie and Neo actually met at our climate strike in March 2019, and they've been singing together ever since. And Akin, I don't even have right now anything. So if you want to give a quick intro before you start, please go ahead and welcome. To make massive changes and the resilience we need to live through those changes.
Yes, hello. Yes, what's going on, everyone? How you guys doing? Yes, my name is Akeem Raphael. My MC name is Kwame Sky. And yeah, no, I'm just a person who just loves to and very passionate to be able to inspire people, whether it's through poetry, hip hop, or whether through DJing. I like to inspire and empower people to be their best self. So yeah, that's a quick little intro on me.
I'm just noticing that, is Neo here? I don't see him on anymore.
Yes, Neo is here.
Okay, cool. All right. Oh, there he is. Okay, awesome. Okay, so I chose this song. It's a song that I've actually done with both Akeem, who I know from my work, and with Neo, who, yeah, Ali already said. So I chose the song because it expresses the importance of us supporting each other and the planet, which is, I mean, supporting each other is really clear right now because of COVID-19. That's really important. And it's always really important, actually. So a lot of the fallout from COVID-19 has shown that ideas like consumer to capitalism and nationalism are not working so well. And as Savy said earlier, the Canadian government does have the money needed to make massive changes. And a lot of the changes that are being made are similar to the Green New Deal and similar to what we need for the climate. So now is the time that we need to work together and take hold of the ideas that would work better. So this is just a song to inspire you guys to work together. And the other thing I wanted to say about the song is it's part of a big project that actually aims to get everyone singing together. So you can make your own versions. Like I made a different version with Akeem, and then Neo and I did a different version. And you can find the version Neo and I did actually on the website. There's a link. And then you can find a link to different lyrics in different languages to make your own versions at resolution, hashtag resolution 2020. That'll take you but you can learn it right now, and you can, yeah, it's open to everyone. So I encourage you to sing with us. So I'm gonna start by teaching the English version, and Neo's gonna respond. Yeah, so, and then we're gonna do a version where we sing, and then Akeem's gonna do a rap. Okay, so. I'm here standing with you.
I'm here standing with you.
Here standing with me.
Here standing with me.
Standing with the world on our shoulders.
Standing with the world on our shoulders.
Okay, we're gonna do that part one more time. Standing with the world on our shoulders.
Standing with the world on our shoulders.
Okay, so now we're gonna do the whole chorus, and you guys sing along at home, okay? And then we'll sing it a couple times so you'll feel comfortable. So, ready, go. I'm here standing with you, here standing with me, standing with the world on our shoulders.
I'm here standing with you, here standing with me, standing with the world on our shoulders.
One more time. I'm here standing with you, here standing with me, standing with the world on our shoulders.
I'm here standing with you, here standing with me, standing with the world on our shoulders.
Cool. Okay, so Neo, can you teach the French version that
Yes.
you translated?
Okay. Je suis là avec toi, t'es ici avec moi.
Je suis là avec toi, t'es ici avec moi.
Avec le monde sur nos épaules.
Avec le monde sur nos épaules.
And now we're gonna do that part one more time. Avec le monde sur nos épaules.
avec le monde sur nos épaules.
Now the whole thing. Je suis là avec toi, t'es ici avec moi, avec le monde sur nos épaules.
Je suis là avec toi, t'es ici avec moi, avec le monde sur nos épaules. Okay, cool. So now, Neo's going to do the French version twice. I'm going to do the English version. Akim's going to do his rap, and there's a response part in the rap, right, Akim? So you guys can do the response part at home, but we might not do it because the Zoom might jump back and forth. Okay, so starting with Neo.
Je suis là avec toi, t'es ici avec moi, avec le monde sur nos épaules. Je suis là avec toi, t'es ici avec moi, avec le monde sur nos épaules.
I'm here standing with you, here standing with me, standing with the world on our shoulders. I'm here standing with you, here standing with me, standing with the world on our shoulders.
Me?
No, Akim's muted. Akim, you're muted.
You're muted.
We're gonna try that launch one more time. I'll try it, and I'll try the English version to launch you into it.
All right, let's go.
You're in now? Yeah.
Yeah, it happens.
Yeah, no problem. I'm here standing with you, here standing with me, standing with the world on our shoulders.
Here standing with you,
here standing with me, standing with the world on our shoulders.
See, now let me get that in. One more time. I'm here standing
with you, here standing with me, standing with the world on our shoulders. I'm here standing with you, here standing with me, standing with the world on our shoulders.
What world has been calling? Change needs action. Nature needs love and passion. We should pay more attention. Plant seeds on this progression. Teamtrees.org to start in. If we plant and express, then water can flow from within. Like environments, it's time for a change. It's time for us to switch these lanes. Who's going to carry the flame for our next generation to come? We know it's time for us to walk as one. So let me hear you say, I am.
I am.
World change.
World change.
Say, I will.
I will.
Be the change.
Be the change. I'm here standing with you, here standing with me, standing with the world on our shoulders. I'm here standing with you, here standing with me, standing with the world on our shoulders. I'm here standing with you, here standing with me, standing with the world on our shoulders. I'm here standing with you, here standing with me, standing with the world on our shoulders. Neo,
Je suis là avec toi, t'es ici avec moi, avec le monde sur nos épaules. Je suis là avec toi, t'es ici avec moi, avec le monde sur nos épaules.
Woo!
Thank you guys for tuning us in.
Yeah,
that was amazing.
Hope you guys were enjoying singing at home.
I was singing. I obviously muted my mic to spare you all, but I was definitely singing. Thank you so much. Folks at home, I hope you were singing, and if you weren't, you can learn it. We're recording all of this, so this can be posted again. Learn it so that when we meet in person again, because we will, I promise, strike again in the street, you can all sing with Cassie, Neo, and Akim. We have a youth speaker coming up. Her name is Ruby. She is going to give you so much energy. I'm really excited to introduce you because she's one of our very own. She organizes with Fridays for Future Toronto. Keep coming up with the hashtags and posting your pictures, your reactions. If you were singing and you filmed yourself, post your videos of you singing. So Ruby is a 17-year-old settler youth activist in so-called Toronto. She's a high school student who organizes with us Fridays for Future Toronto. And for her, the climate crisis is the most important issue because it represents the biggest danger facing youth right now. Her work centers around youth empowerment and education, as she views these as key to solving the climate crisis. So please welcome Ruby. Ruby, if you want to show your face. Thank you.
Hi, so as Ali said, my name is Ruby. So I'm going to start by telling you a little bit about the moment I realized the gravity of the climate crisis. So I was sitting on the beach on a small island in British Columbia, watching the sunrise with a few of my friends. I've grown up on this beach. I've been going there and spending my summers there for years and years. But this specific morning, it was a little bit different. As the sun rose over the mountains, I can very distinctly remember how bright red it was. It was red because of the smoke filling the skies as fires burned across BC. As more summers pass, I see the same pattern every year, and I know what it means. That red sun is a symbol of the destruction our world is facing. In 2013, just 18,000 hectares of forests were burned during the summer wildfire season. Then in 2018, 280,000 hectares of BC forest were lost. By 2018, it was 1 million hectares in just one summer. This increase in devastation, this is just the beginning. As global temperatures rise, there will be more fires, and they will be worse. There will be more droughts and more severe storms. This isn't an issue for the next generation. This is an issue for us right now. We already know that we have just 10 years to turn around our entire way of life. In 10 years, I will be 27, hopefully just starting a family. That is, if humanity can make drastic changes. If we do nothing about the climate crisis, who knows where I will be by the time I'm 27? I ask myself a lot, will I make it to 37, 47? Or will human industry and greed have destroyed our planet before I get the chance to have children? This is why the climate crisis matters to youth. I am literally a kid, yet I can see all the things I'm going to miss if we don't change our ways. Youth have been rising up for over a year and demanding societal change. Millions of youth are beginning to understand that we simply must lower our emissions and change our industries. We must adopt solutions like the Green New Deal. It's not an option anymore. As a young person, I sometimes find it hard to have my voice heard. Adults think they don't know that I don't know what I'm talking about or that I haven't lived long enough to understand what's happening. I would disagree. I think that being a youth is a big part of why I can understand the urgency of the climate crisis. Adults are currently the ones who can make the changes our planet needs to see. They can vote. They are members of the government. They are the presidents and CEOs of corporations. Essentially, they're some of the biggest contributors. Yet, in the end, adults won't suffer the consequences of the climate crisis like I will. The ones who are currently in power in our society will be gone long before I am. So, just because I'm not yet of age to vote doesn't mean I shouldn't have my voice heard. In the end, if you don't let me talk, I will yell. I will yell so that every other child gets a chance to grow up and then watch their kids grow up. So every kid can grow old and retire and spend their days knitting little mittens and socks for their grandchildren without the fear of losing the very planet they live on. So keeping that in mind, I'd also like to tell you about a social media campaign that is going on top of the hashtags that Ali already talked about. I'll show you the sign. I don't know if you can see it. It's the hashtag Won't Back Down campaign. So the idea is that even though we are all stuck at home, there are still things other than COVID that we care about. We care about the climate crisis. So, for example, I urge all of you to go on Twitter or on social media of any kind and post with the hashtag Won't Back Down and say something that you won't back down from. So for example, I won't back down from fighting for the future of all children, because the climate crisis and COVID, all of these crises are eventually going to impact children and future generations. And it's my responsibility to fight for those now. That's it.
Ruby, thank you so much. Merci beaucoup. Please look up the Won't Back Down campaign. It's actually a national campaign that Ruby just spoke of. And Ruby pinpointed something extremely important, is that if we're not allowed to speak, I think she said, then we will yell. I thought that was extremely powerful. Thanks so much, Ruby, for this. We're here as a youth organization. We appreciate so much the support from adults, but we want to remember that we're going to be living with this for the rest of our lives. And it's part of the reason why we took the streets in the first place, and why we'll keep doing it until we get the climate justice we need. Folks, I just looked on Twitter and we have Climate Strike Online that is trending in Canada. So congratulations and thank you. Keep going, keep posting. This is amazing. And hopefully we start invading other people's news feeds with this climate information, so that folks can think about the climate crisis, think about our role in it, and think about a Green New Deal for all that we are asking for. We're gonna have another speaker right after this. His name is Nigel, and he's gonna be speaking more about this whole Green New Deal, disaster capitalism, COVID. But before that, I want to address something I keep seeing on social media, and sometimes amongst people my age, saying, you know, I just wish we could go back to normal. I don't know, but normal wasn't enough. Normal was a climate crisis that is imminent. And yeah, of course, I want to go back to feeling safer, and I want to go back to a life where I can see my friends and I can have healthcare workers not be overworked. But normal was not enough. And that's important, because what we're asking, what we're launching today, but what we're going to keep doing for the rest of this summer and for the rest of our campaigning with Fridays for Future Toronto, is making sure that the response to COVID and the response to the economic crisis that is starting right now and undoubtedly going to get worse is a response that honors what we're asking for, honors being, honors life, honors the land on which we stand. Because normal meant a lot of pain for a lot of people. Normal meant that, what Ruby said, generations like me are not sure we can have the life that we want to have, and the future and the career we want to have. So right now is our time to ask that the new normal is not the one we had before. I also wanted to talk about this word normal because I saw it on social media as well. People have been saying it. Normal was also a way to make sure folks like Indigenous folks, people of color, were not at the table every time. So we want a new normal, a better normal, a normal that doesn't involve the climate chaos. And with that, I want to introduce you to Nigel Barif, who is currently an executive officer of the Elementary Teachers of Toronto. And he is also part of their Political Action Committee liaison, and he's board chair of the Urban Alliance. You're seeing Nigel on your screen right now already, of the Urban Alliance on Race Relations. He's also a member of the TDSB Joint Management Labor Environmental Committee. Nigel, take it away.
I don't know about taking it away, Ali, but thank you. You're being so awesome. And thanks for inviting me here. Although folks are just seeing my face, I am here with as a group of school teachers. We call ourselves Building Union Power. You can visit our website at buildingunionpower.ca, and where we've already raised thousands of dollars for food boxes here in Toronto to give to families who are struggling through this COVID pandemic. And also, just I think as school teachers, we understand that we have to be part of the struggle of us all working together to push back against, you know, many of the private interests that are trying to take over education and healthcare. And I think this moment, this opportunity, sorry, you're hearing my 4-year-old in the background right at the moment, does give us this opportunity finally to, as Naomi Klein has been talking about for years, disaster capitalism gives us this opportunity for us to, this gives us this opportunity to go out and put forward new solutions. And so the labor community has been talking about just transition for years. And just to make sure we're all on the same page, that, you know, just transition is where we want workers to be able to move from the tar sands, be able to move from coal mines and transition into jobs that are good for the environment. And that transition is respectable of their living conditions, that it honors, you know, our treaties, but it also honors the human rights of folks. And so that just transition can look like oil workers now trying to take back or reclaim land that was from abandoned oil fields. And the government has already started looking at that. And this opportunity that we have right now, where we see the government taking money and giving it out at $2,000 a month, which is what we needed them to do for years. This is the same opportunity we have to do for all workers to make sure that they're transitioned into a decent job. So, you know, what a just transition should be doing is that it has to invest in jobs, decent work opportunities that reduce sector emissions. It has to also respect the contributions that workers in fossil fuel industries have made to today's, you know, prosperity, quotation marks for some, but retraining and redeployment opportunities, as well as secure pensions for the older workers that may not be on the call, but they're not saying that that's the case. We have to guarantee social protection and human rights. And we have to invest in community renewal to gain hope and trust of regions and townships at the forefront of this energy transition, industrial transformation, and climate impacts. We have to have support and innovation of technology and sharing and enable a rapid transformation of energy and manufacturing companies, along with all of the economic sectors and the involvement of workers and communities in the sectoral plans and transforming of megacities. And then we have to formalize jobs associated with rescue, restoring communities, and building resilience to climate change disasters. We've been talking about this for years now, and this is that opportunity we have to truly implement a just transition. And as Ali has been pointing out, we should be calling our politicians. We should be calling the Prime Minister to say, implement a just transition plan right now, with the billions of dollars that we're taking to support folks during this crisis, which is a good thing. Let's at the same time say, we're going to eventually come out of this. And when we do, what kind of economy do we want to have? Do we want to have an economy that has been in the old gray economy that's only supported just the few? Or do we want an economy that supports us all? I want to just close off by sharing, because I'm a school teacher, right? And just wanted to share with you one of the classrooms that I had. It was a grade 3 classroom, and we do what's called a read aloud. So, you know, we'll read nonfiction or fiction books. And just during this time, we were so happening to be doing a nonfiction unit. And I was reading a Globe and Mail article. And so at the beginning of the article, it said that 2 families in Ontario have more wealth than it was almost 20 million people within the country. That was the title of the article. And then I went on reading it aloud to the students. And then there was a moment where one of the children's grade 10 little girl puts up her hand and says, "Mr. Barif, did that just say 2 families have more wealth than almost 20 million people in Canada?" And I said, well, it's the Globe and Mail. It's a nonfiction. So that means it is truthful. They have to print things that are true. And she said, you know, Mr. Brief, that's not fair. That's not right. Little children know that the old economy wasn't fair for us, wasn't fair for anyone. Just transition gives us that opportunity to move forward in a way that's much more fair for everyone. And you see when we can make applying for EI more fair for folks, we can make it more accessible. And we also have to remember we also have folks that don't have migrant workers. We have to make sure that we're also taking care of them, because they're also here within our communities, and if they don't have the ability to be at home and self-isolate, then we're not going to be able to get out of there. So I'm going to kind of stop it there. I'm going to ask everyone to remember to hit up on Building Union Power if you want to kind of continue to keep in contact with each other. It's buildingunionpower.ca, and I am so grateful for this opportunity, Ali. We need our students to continue to keep going, continue to fight for a more just and sustainable and fair society for all. So one love, everyone. Stay safe, and peace be with you. One love.
Nigel, thank you so much. That was so inspiring. And as Nigel shared, the youth knows, the young kids know what's fair or unfair. They know it's not fair that our future is compromised because other people lied to us. Folks, you haven't been doing much in the past few minutes, right? You've been listening, you've been enjoying this, but it's time for you to act again. So once again, I'm gonna ask you to grab a phone, a computer, anything that has access to the internet, and we're going to go on a platform, and it's gonna look like a petition, but it's better than a petition. We're going to go and directly email our respective members of parliament, so the people that sit in Ottawa and make decisions for us in so-called Canada. We're gonna ask them for a Green New Deal. So the link is probably appearing right now, or will be appearing in a few seconds in the comments on YouTube and on social media. But if you can't find it, I'm gonna tell you how to find it on the internet right now. I really hope you're gonna do this, play along, because it's a really good way to facilitate your access to emailing those people. So it's on Greenpeace's website. You can just look up, will you help bring a Green New Deal to Canada? Very easy, on Greenpeace's website. Will you help bring a Green New Deal to Canada? Hopefully you're typing that in right now, taking a bit of time, maybe finding the link in our descriptions, because the Green New Deal is this idea that we've been hearing. We've actually heard it sometimes from elected officials, but we have never seen policies that were really worthy of this Green New Deal that we're asking for. So right now would be the time to ask. And once you arrive on Greenpeace's website and you find, will you help bring a Green New Deal to Canada, find this petition. Once again, the links are on the live description, on our social media, they're coming right now. You can type in your address and it's gonna automatically email a message to your member of parliament. It's important to address yours because they're supposed to be working for you. Governments are supposed to be working for you. And sometimes it doesn't feel like it. Right now for us, it certainly doesn't feel like it when our emissions keep going up and pipelines keep being built. So hopefully you're arriving on that page, and if not, we'll put the links available again, as always, on our website, social media. But once you get to that petition, you can, you have a message that's pre-written. Now that's very well, and you can send that, or you can add something of your own. I really recommend adding something at the beginning so they see it's your own email, because they might receive a few of these emails. And what's important is telling them why the Green New Deal matters to you. So if you're a worker that knows that your job is a high carbon industry, you can say, I want to help the planet. I want to save my kids' future, but I also know that I have to put food on the table every day. And this is your reason. If you're a student, I think we've mentioned why we cared. If you're an Indigenous person, you have to say, I want land sovereignty. I want Indigenous people to be treated as a nation, just like the Trudeau government had promised, a nation-to-nation relationship. All of these are part of what we're asking for in this policy package that is the Green New Deal. Okay, hopefully you've managed to get to that website. And if not, once again, put a note down to be asking that to your member of parliament. It would be amazing to have it nationwide at the national level to have a Green New Deal. you're actually going to have a bit more time to do that because we're going to have a musical performance. So while you're looking for all of those, we're going to have Mohammed, who's going to be coming up in a few minutes to perform again. And Mohammed was born in Mauritius, but raised in Canada. And Mohammed Ali and his daughter, who's joining us today, is one man who's been forced to walk two directions. He's both an artist and an activist. And whether it's in the studio or the picket lines, Mohammed blends the, wow, I'm getting tired, folks, blends the energy that made hip hop the global cultural force that it is with a rock solid commitment to grassroots social justice activism. So he's moved labor and human rights struggles beyond the acoustic guitar and onto something original of a new genre. And he calls himself the socialist vocalist. And he's redefining how his generation and all our generations are viewing political art. He's been able to perform in colleges, universities, as well as touring. And he also facilitated workshops with students. So thank you so much, Mohammed, for being with us.
New mathematics, we the millions, we the masses. Without wonder, we outnumber millionaires across the planet. We parse poetics, it ain't even positive. We politic in places, they ain't talking politics. Park benches, coffee shops, street corner barber shops. Real life, it's really like I really hate my boss. My people sick and tired, because they're always sick and tired. We so sick of these liars, we turning freedom fires. Here to spark freedom. Strength in numbers, no surrender, no confusion. People power the solution. The power of the people stronger than people in power. They're powered by the people. We put those people in power. 99 for everyone. That's mighty fine. We like the odds. 99% of the world, the time is ours. Money, power, respect. Money, power, respect. Money, power, respect. They just keeping all it because they got me putting rent up on my visa. Sky is the limit. They don't want to see us reach it. They want to keep us down. They want to keep it secret. The people united
will never be defeated.
All the way at the top, they don't see it. Champagne by the leaders. All my leaders is elitist. I'm sick of broken treaties. I'm sick of how they treat us.
People united will never be defeated.
The power of the people stronger than people in power. They're powered by the people. We put those people in power. Hours turn to days, days into decades. Work 8 to 6, then raise my kid. I'm living in a debt age. They paved paradise, put up a parking lot. Joni Mitchell never lied. Still, the block is hot. Pipelines from the Barren Sea, pipes where the bear should be. We need solidarity. We need solid air to breathe. Won't weep if we reap what we sow. We believe giving each equal piece. That's the goal. We don't steal. We don't scheme. They see us as drones, machines, worker bees for the queen on the throne. Say no play on no game, on no board. When the stakes is your life, you take in what's yours. Money, power, respect, what my people calling. I mean, we making all this money. They just keeping all it because they got me putting rent up on my visa. Sky is the limit. They don't want to see us reach it. They want to keep us down. They want to keep it secret. The people
united will never be defeated.
All the way at the top, they don't see it. Champagne by the leaders. All my leaders, elitist. I'm sick of broken treaties. I'm sick of how they treat us.
The people united will never be defeated.
The people united
will never be defeated.
The people united
will never be defeated.
The people united
will never be defeated.
All right, at home, make some noise, y'all. Amira Omir, Muhammad Ali, the socialist vocalist. We got one more piece for y'all. I know we're running a little bit behind time. So we're just gonna do one more little piece. This is one of Amira's favorite records that we've been performing for how many years now, Amira?
I don't know. 3
years, I think. So Amira's got to scooch in because everybody at home's got to hear the music. All righty. So that last one we just did is called Democracy Now. It's a bonus track of my album Labor of Love. And this one right here is one of Amira's favorite records. It was actually covered by CBC many years ago, back when Amira was a little baby and I was feeding her in her high chair back in her home. She has been listening to the song for about 5 years and she loves to perform it. It's called Precarious Work. And I think it's pretty straightforward what it's about. So we're just gonna rock. Amira, are you ready? Yeah. Are you the people? Yeah? Am I the people? Are they the people? You can put that down. You ready? All right, let's do it. Yo. You the people.
Stand up.
We the people.
Put your hands up.
Unless you in handcuffs.
They want to see your hands up.
We the people.
Put your hands up.
You're the people.
Stand up.
We the people.
Put your hands up.
Unless you in handcuffs.
They want to see your hands up.
We the people.
Put your hands up.
Squab Chaplain for Tom Morello. It's for the wobblies, the workers. What's up? Hello. Let's have a dialogue by private sector pirate laws. The right to work for less has got us in a fight for jobs. We signed a union called Reply because we're going haywire. This ain't Haymarket riot mob. Flipping burgers with a bachelor's degree. Serve it to you on my master's. What's the matter to me? Call me a millennial. Facebook status, Instagram addict, PlayStation, Xbox having. They tell us get a job. Okay. You got some nerve, sir, some wherewithal. Why you think graffiti kids are trying to mark the spot? You don't think you'd rather have a pension, a parking spot? You don't understand. You must be in the dark a lot. I can't even get into your target, dog. You the people.
Stand up.
We the people.
Put your hands up.
Unless you in handcuffs.
They want to see your hands up.
We the people.
Put your hands up.
You the people.
Stand up.
We the people.
Put your hands up.
Unless you in
They
handcuffs.
want to see your hands up.
We the people.
Put your hands up.
Yo, you work at Mickey D's? What's it like there? You work at Starbucks? How's the child care? Is she babysat? Where your wages at? Rent, food, utilities, are you making that? Does your hard work seem to have an odd worth? Do your arms hurt? Man, does your car work? Drive train across the whole city maps from the first 2 hours, making that back. Now, how much are you worth as a whole? $11 an hour seem a little bit low. I mean, did you even know? Did you ever think if we all walked out, stores closing in a blink, all cars sick, food would stop to sell? Bosses took over. Would they do it just as well? Does the clothing sell itself, putting dollars in their pockets? No. Does the cash register the profit? Oh, people.
Stand up.
We the people.
Put your hands up.
Unless you in handcuffs.
They want to see your hands up.
We the people.
Put your hands up.
You're the people.
Stand up.
We the people.
Put your hands up.
Unless you win.
They want to see your hands up.
We the people.
Put your hands up.
Muhammad Ali, the socialist vocalist. Amira Omir in the house. Can I get a little high five? We are the socialist vocalists, and we just want to say goodbye by saying peace, love, solidarity, and keep on the fight for a Green New Deal. Peace.
Amira, Mohammed, that was amazing. Thank you so much. I loved it. I loved it. We want you at our strikes, Amira. Thank you both. Thank you so much. That gave me so much energy. I'm really excited. And we're still trending on Twitter, which is amazing. You guys are doing a great job. I'm also seeing petitions are being thrown around on social media, so that's outstanding. A little reminder, you can be part of the team. If you're a youth and you've always wanted to be involved in Fridays for Future Toronto, you can either go on our website, fridaysforfutureto.org, don't get tired of me telling you, or you can DM all our social media platforms, and you can just tell us, hey, I was attending the digital strike, I want to learn more, how can I get involved? If you're an adult supporter, that's perfect. We also have a lot of roles for you, so feel free to go on our website again and learn more about what you can do to ask for a Green New Deal and to help the youth that are fighting this climate crisis. We have another of our young speakers, and you've noticed that we have a lot of people that are much younger today, and Benjamin is 12 years old, and he's a political and environmental activist from Brant, Ontario. He founded Climate Strike Brant, and he read a resolution at Brant County Council declaring a climate emergency in November 2019. Benjamin, you can unmute yourself, and we're really excited to have you speak today.
Hello. Hi, I am delighted to be speaking to you today. This is a very exciting opportunity for me, and I am honored to have been selected by the Fridays for Future Toronto organizers. To introduce myself, my name is Benjamin Pickles. I'm a political and environmental activist from Brant, Ontario, and I founded Climate Strike Brant in August. The climate strike is different in a small town, I've noticed. In Brant, for example, there was no established Fridays for Future group when I joined, so I had to build one. Often, there are less people interested, and most do not live near enough to government offices. Another issue I have faced is the lack of public transport in small communities. This means that despite the communities being smaller, offices and such are further apart. I'm lucky enough to live down the street from the council building, but I am often alone when I'm striking there because most of my comrades live further away. These problems can be solved, however. So I think a big part of this is we need better public transport, which is obviously a big part of our whole thing anyway. We also need to educate and recruit more people in rural communities. They're part of the front lines in the climate crisis. Many people in Brent are dependent on farming for our livelihood. The destruction of these ecosystems is terrible for us. People need to realize that. The problem is that many rural people are very conservative, but I think we can fix that. We just need to educate them, teach them the reality of the situation. Small towns have an important role in the implementation of a Green New Deal. The grassroots level is where it all begins, and the vast majority of people live in rural communities. Convincing these people is both our biggest challenge and our biggest need. The Green New Deal does not need to be implemented on the national level. There can be provincial Green New Deals and even municipal ones. So I've decided that my next project will be to get the County of Brent to endorse a Green New Deal. We need to mobilize activists in small towns across Canada, but more specifically Ontario right now. We need to educate and organize. Many people are anxious about a Green New Deal because they think it's big government socialism coming to steal all your money or something like that. So we need to very clearly explain what the Green New Deal does. That's true for just about everyone we try to convince. We need to explain that we will only take money from the wealthiest, and that the Green New Deal is both about saving the planet and about ensuring the economic stability of everyone. I apologize for my speech being very short. I did not anticipate how fast I speak, but I hope that it was useful in providing more information on climate activism in small communities. Thank you.
Ben, thank you so much. Thanks, Ben. And it's a great reminder that a lot of people are not downtown. And it's true, at Fridays for Future Toronto, we have a lot of our actions downtown, but we're really looking for folks that want to organize even in the GTA, but more outside. So we're based around Queen's Park most of the time for actions, but we have people in Mississauga and Scarborough that are also organizing. So both Fridays for Future there are looking for people to join them. And we'd be really interested in hearing from you if you're somewhere else and you feel like you're too far to make it to the Queen's Park strikes, and instead you want to start organizing. We're so happy to send you resources, speak to you about what your community needs. So thanks, Ben, for that really good reminder. We have more petitions, things you should be signing, but I know it's really hard through this live to get you to sign them. So instead, I'm offering that you go on our website once again. I'm sorry I keep bringing it up, but it's so useful for you to go. You can go on there, and either on the April 3rd tab or the About tab, where you have our demands, you can find a lot of petitions or information sessions, webinars, different resources that are put out by other groups than Fridays for Future that correspond to each of our demands. So if you said, all right, well, this whole just transition for workers, I understand, but that's not what concerns me. I'm more concerned about universal services in response to the climate crisis. That's amazing, because that's one of our demands. And we have a whole section where you can take actions to enforce these demands. So that is, once again, on our website. One of our wonderful members, Kendall, put that together, and I really encourage you to go right now if you can. Things we haven't mentioned today is quite concretely, how do we change this economy? And one thing we asked for in the past, and we haven't asked too much today or spoken about today, is divesting from fossil fuels, is getting away with that money, because that's a huge tool. So when the government puts more money into pipelines, it is not getting us towards the just transition that we need. Hopefully you can get more resources on our website about the different ways, or if you're in university right now and you're part of some divestment movements, reach out to us. So we'd love to highlight your work as well. On Twitter, on Instagram, on any social media platform you use, keep tweeting at government officials, but I really encourage you as well to tweet at media. just to tell them, for example, hey, you didn't cover much of the climate strike, you didn't cover much of the climate crisis lately. Could we have more of a link between the lessons from COVID and the lessons from the climate crisis? So feel free to use your voice, use your power, use your time. And the last thing before I introduce our next performers, and we're getting to the end of this rally, folks, but we have a few more. We have another performance and another quick speech after that. Where was I going with this? I was speaking so fast, I entirely forgot. Anyways, it's fine. It'll come back to me after. But I want to introduce you to our next performers. Cricket and Sam. I think they're joining us right now, but Cricket is an Anishinaabe Métis young youth activist and a filmmaker. As a land defender, Cricket works with a variety of organizations such as Fridays for Future Toronto, but also Proluders Out, and she's one of the Indigenous youth for Wet'suwet'en. Cricket has spoken from police-occupied railroad blockades to the stage of the International Women's Day. Cricket has been at our rallies, you've seen her before, and you might have seen with her Sam Wong, who is a mixed race Métis Cree young man who is passionate about Indigenous and environmental rights. He lives in Toronto and is a student who organizes at U of T with the Equity Studies Student Union. Recently, he helped occupy Minister Carolyn Bennett's office in solidarity with the Wet'suwet'en people. He is driven to help create a better world for all. Cricket and Sam, if you want to come on the screen now, we'll have you drum for us for the end of this rally.
Sorry, I'm just trying to figure this out. Hello, can everybody see me?
Yes, we're good.
Yeah. Hi, everybody. I just wanted to thank Fridays for Future for putting on the online strike today. And just wanted to remind everybody that we're not just fighting for the future of ourselves, but we're also fighting for the future of all the creation and all the animals and the plants. And they thank us, and it's a reciprocal relationship because they provide us with everything we need, and now we have to return that favor. So hi. I'll send it to Cricket if she wants to say a few words.
Ani Bojo, my name is Cricket. As Ali said, I'm an Anishinaabe Kwe youth activist, and Sam and I are going to be sharing. Sam, you can turn your video on still. Okay. But keep your video on. But so Sam and I are going to be sharing some songs that we sang largely on like the blockades that we did in solidarity with Wet'suwet'en, as Sam and I are two of the Indigenous youth for Wet'suwet'en. And it's important to remember that the injustices against Wet'suwet'en and other Indigenous nations are still happening amongst the COVID crisis. CGL is still attempting to displace the Wet'suwet'en people. As we spoke about earlier, as Ali read Sophia's speech, it's still happening. But the first song that Sam and I are going to do is going to be the water song. And so we sing the water song to sorry, actually, no, we're going to be singing the Women's Warrior song first. So the Women's Warrior song is a song that we sing to honor missing and murdered Indigenous women. And yeah, I think we can go ahead. Just give me 1 second. Okay. Sam, mute your computer.
Wait, it's on the phone. My video's on.
I know, but mute your actual computer.
I did mute the computer.
Okay, good. Okay. Are you good to go?
Yeah.
Sam, I think you use your sound on your computer, so there's no echo. Yeah.
What does that
Right.
mean?
We're getting a strong feedback, that's why.
We're getting
that's perfect now. Off you go, thank you.
Okay. Okay, so we're gonna start with the Women's Warrior song. Are you good, Sam?
Yep.
God. Sorry. Okay. Hey, 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 Yakio, Yakio, hey, hey, Yakio, Yakio, hey, hey, Yakio, hey, 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 Yakio. Yakio, hey, hey, Yakio, Yakio, hey, hey, Yakio, hey, 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 Yakio, Yakio, hey, hey, Yakio. Yakio, Yakio. Okay, maybe we just like won't do the other song then, since it's not really working.
We're getting a bit of feedback. Would you be able to do either one of you or one after? I know it's not the same thing.
You're only gonna do one other song anyways, and it's not really one that sounds good with just one person. So we can just like.
Do you want to give it a try, but just put the mic a little bit away from the phone, a little bit away from the mic, just so we get less echo?
Is away from the the phone is away.
Oh, okay.
Dude, yeah, it's fine.
Okay, where can we find you both then to listen to your drumming more in a better way?
I mean, come to a rally when all this is over. Come to a blockade in solidarity with Wet'suwet'en.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much, Cricket and Sam. Sorry about the sound and it not working perfectly. We were getting a bit of feedback on the live stream, but Cricket and Sam are both part of the Indigenous Youth for Wet'suwet'en, and hopefully when we can go back to our usual protesting, we can go and support the youth that is asking for justice for Wet'suwet'en people. Thank you very much, both of you, for joining. And I promise you the drumming in person is really amazing and really powerful. So hopefully folks that are watching this live, you'll be able to join us at an in-person rally to hear it. We are getting to the end of this rally. We have the last few things. One thing is that, I don't know if you know the group G-Force, but they're a group of young women who usually do covers, and they're extremely powerful. They're very popular amongst younger folks in our group, for example, and they actually are supporting the strike. They said that they wanted to be part of this, and they sent us a video. Now, the video is much better if you could watch it directly than having it through this live. So we decided that we'll be posting it on our YouTube, on our website, and on our social media platforms for you to see G-Force's video about the climate strike, why they care about the climate, and what they do in their everyday lives to help the planet and alleviate our footprint on the planet. We were also intending on having another Indigenous speaker, and her name is Nanook, and she wasn't able to join because of, again, some technological difficulties. We're really discovering this online activism, so we had a few difficulties. So hopefully Nanook will be on our social media to highlight what she had to say about the Green New Deal, the climate crisis, and the work of Indigenous youth at the forefront of all this activism. I would like to ask you for one last time, I promise, to actually go on our website if you haven't done it already, so that you can sign up to be in our newsletter, or for you to click on any of the other petitions. So it's a small step for you. It's not the same as being in the street, and I know that. That's why we wanted to put a bunch of them, and we wanted to also put resources like what I mentioned earlier, where you can contact your elected officials. We're actually going to be facilitating more and more of that, of advocating for a Green New Deal remotely. So if you stay in touch with us, that's a way for us to contact you. For example, would it be fun if we could just Zoom call our MPs and ask them about a Green New Deal in there? I think it would be wonderful, and that's one of our goals. So staying in touch with us is a way for us to keep you informed. We also have weekly strikes happening, and for that, we have one of our members, Mallory, that's going to be telling you more about this. Mallory?
Hey all, how's it going? Hi, I'm Mallory. I've been organizing with Fridays for Future Toronto for a little bit now. And in fact, you might have met me at the weekly strikes that Ali was talking about in Queen's Park every Friday before this pandemic kind of really took off and we needed to start social distancing and staying at home. We came together every single Friday, rain or shine, to stand together for the people, for the land, the water, the wildlife, and the climate. And through this action, we built community and we made friends, and I'm so thankful for that. These physical strikes varied a lot in size. Sometimes when the weather was especially cold or windy, it was just 3 of us and a dog, you know? But these small sizes meant that we were really able to get to know each other, and it was a ton of fun, even though we were there for less than ideal circumstances. But I also saw our crowds reach over 100 when we were rejecting tech and when we began to stand in solidarity with Wet'suwet'en land defenders, who, by the way, are still resisting against Coastal GasLink, who are pushing man camps for pipeline construction during this pandemic, putting so many people at risk for a horrible reason. So I'm really proud that we were able to do this, and I know that your actions with this community have really made a difference. So, you know, we can't meet at Queen's Park right now, and that's okay, because we're still taking these actions to save ourselves, just in different ways than before. We're still building community, we're still showing love, we're still fighting back, and we're going to keep fighting for a Green New Deal here in Toronto, for climate justice in Canada, and, you know, across the world. You can stay up to date on links and actions that we're going to be doing online strikes and online rallies. You can follow us on Twitter, Fridays for Future TO, I think it's TO for Future, or on our Instagram at Fridays for Future, or, you know, as Ali's mentioned many times, I'm going to mention it again, fridaysforfutureto.org. So thanks so much for showing up today. I hope to see you in the future. Hope we can keep building community together. Y'all are a powerful movement. I'm really proud of us. Thanks.
Mallory, thank you. It looks like we're trying to promote this website so badly. We are really proud of it, but it's also because it's just a hub of information that you might need. So that's why we're forcing it so much, but please check it out. You'll see why we like it so much. Folks, we're getting to the end of this rally, and I want to remind you why we're here. We're here because we're in a climate emergency, and we're here digitally because we're also in this global pandemic. But the next few weeks, few months will depend on us, will depend on what are we going to ask for as our governments decide how we're going to get out of this economic crisis. What are we going to fight for? Where are we going to put our voices and our words? And if it's writing to elected officials or calling them, there's still a way for you to get involved. The climate revolution doesn't stop with self-isolation. Oh, that rhymes. Okay. So I really want to thank you. I also want to tell you that there's an amazing team of Fridays for Future people that have worked on this, and some of their stories are also highlighted on our website. So I want you to go and discover why they strike, because I think it's so important to understand why each person has been moved to act on climate. We've discussed the Green New Deal, but we haven't gone into that many details, and that's because the Green New Deal is firstly going to be written by people like you locally. Ben said it. I think Brenda also talked about the power of communities. It's going to be as a community that we have to write our Green New Deals and think about them. So let's start right now by talking about the Green New Deal, getting that word out there, understanding what it means, understanding what the climate crisis is going to do in our lives and why we want to fight it so badly. I think this kind of concludes our digital climate strike. It was an innovation, so thank you for staying while we had to change links and we had to deal with technical difficulties. Hopefully we can continue to be in touch. And I really want to encourage you to keep for the rest of the day tweeting, because you got it trending, and if we could get it #1 in Canada, that would be amazing. That depends on you. Share. So a few tweets you might want to put out is maybe your favorite song of today, maybe your favorite chant when we could still chant in person, maybe your strike sign. I like to share pictures of past strikes to remember people how powerful we are, a book that inspired you, and stay tuned on our social media for more of our actions. My name is Ali. I organize with Fridays for Future Toronto, and it was really my pleasure to host this climate strike today. I really want to thank you for participating, and I really, really want to acknowledge all the Fridays for Future team that has been working on this. It's definitely not just me, and there's so many people behind the screen that made this happen. Hopefully you can just put thumbs up in the live to really thank them and give them a digital round of applause. Thank you very much.